On your son's 18th birthday, I'll be stood on the driveway with a balloon and a happy birthday card. I'll take his virginity, but I'll take him to a safe, controlled environment. I'm not going to cry the next day. I'm STD tested. I can educate him on a body. So the next girl he sleeps with, because if that's the girl he falls in love with, she's going to want a good shag. I am just so open and transparent.
You want to get to a body count of 10,000 men?
Yeah.
All right, I want to get back into this Andrew Tate, Bonnie Blue conversation. We left off at Bonnie Blue saying that she educates barely legal men by offering her insights to them. Education through showing them what normal sex is, which is wild, but let's keep going.
This is how you get a girl wet. There's none of that. So me having sex with them shows this is a woman's body. Yes, a woman's, Andrew, not trans. And
I don't think you're trans.
And
we'll come to that.
They don't know how to pleasure a girl. They've not touched a girl. They've just watched videos, online where they're slapping, they're choking, they're hair pulling, and then they go to do it on a woman or a girl for the first time. She's probably going to cry rape for the next day.
Yeah, you're probably going to get a criminal charge of that. You're probably going to get sued if that happens this time.
Probably need to talk from experience there, but like with me, I love educating them. Like they've never fingered a girl before. They've never.
So you educate your guys when you sleep with them?
Not all the time. Some of them are in their 80s and their wife's dead. Like they've been having sex for years, but some of them are 18 and haven't lost their virginity. They haven't been having sex. So I love lying there and saying, look, do whatever you want to me, trial and error. And if anything, I'm protecting women because then the next girl they sleep with, they know how to choke properly. They know how to slap. They know how to pleasure her. And also I give them such a safe environment. Like, I mean, if you had an 18-year-old son, would you send him to me on his 18th birthday?
No.
So okay, so your son will probably lose his virginity after going to a club. He's probably been drinking. The girl might have done drugs. They then go back to some hotel or parents' house.
I don't think
whatever.
I'm raising him that way.
You're right.
Okay, but regardless.
What about if he falls in love and loses his virginity to someone he loves?
Right.
What if the world becomes a really happy place? You're talking. It's unrealistic. When people lose their virginity, it's probably after a night out.
So it's more realistic. I send my son to you.
To a whore.
Yeah.
He slept with 1,000.
Are you saying, Rob, that your children are going to do what you want? Is
On
that
your
what you're trying to
18th,
say?
on his 18th
Because
birthday,
they're independent people, Rob.
They are.
No, they can make
Now
their
who's
own decisions,
controlling?
Rob.
They
Don't
can.
come out with that crap.
But
Well,
when you
I think my kids are. You don't have kids, and I think my kids are older than your kids. So de facto, I think I've got a bit more experience in being a dad. Because everyone talks about how it is until their kids actually do disobey them, which they do.
No, they won't.
Right, Rob, on your son's 18th birthday, I'll be stood on the driveway with a balloon and a happy birthday card. I'll take his virginity, but I'll take him to a safe, controlled environment. I'm not going to cry rape the next day. I'm STD tested. I can educate him on a body. So the next girl he sleeps with, because if that's the girl he falls in love with, she's going to want a good shag. She's going to want to be pleasured. She's want to walk away from it going, fuck, that was good. Yeah, I want to see him again. I want to stay loyal to him because he was amazing in the bedroom.
Rob, you should do it.
Do you really believe it?
Rob, do it.
Okay, would you send your
Rob, do
son
it.
to Bonnie, age 18? But
No.
I don't need to, but you need to.
Right.
Are you judging me,
Yeah,
Andrew?
of course. I'm just saying that, like.
Andrew, I do father and son as well.
Do you?
Yeah.
No, thanks. But,
Brother and brother?
No,
Bit of double
no way.
penetration?
no way.
Well, you need to find out if I'm trans. I think you and your brother, double penetration, then you'll know the truth.
Okay, first things first. You're not trans, and I knew you weren't trans. 100%.
Is that because you've had multiple wanks?
No, it's just 100% you're.
Or is
you're
that
not
because
trans.
you left this at my last event? Oh, you don't want to touch it? I thought you might be thirsty. You want to rinse it for cum?
Oh, God.
Bonnie. Bonnie. I knew you weren't trans. However,
Listen, before they go on to the next conversation, just like I said in the first reaction, the first video to this, you have to believe that the world is about to end. You have to believe that most negative things that could possibly happen to people are going to happen to people in order to have that line of thinking, to think that the best way to educate a young boy is to have him sleep with a hooker in order for the hooker to show him in a safe environment the correct way. Are we trying to say that that is the best way? Or the alternative is it's going to be in a cracked out shelter behind the bar in the club and the chick's going to have herpes. He's not going to want to do, he's going to get the girl pregnant. Right. All right. There's an in-between, Bonnie. Like there's an in-between. There's a bevy of options in between that could potentially happen as a consequence of not doing it with you, a whole. But the reality is that this barely legal service that she offers, it probably has a high cost associated with it, or she could get content out of it to make even more money, right?
I would argue that a lot of the men who fuck you are gay.
No, it can be intimidating though for guys.
No, it's not about intimidation.
Okay.
They are gay.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are. Because
Their dick is entering a pussy.
there's too much male DNA all around that scenario. The reason I find female promiscuity, by and large, for my personal sexual appetite, quite disgusting, is because I don't like the thought of other men anywhere near what I'm gonna fuck. I'm so not gay that I don't like that there have been men there.
Except if you're on a boat with 25 of them.
Well, if that's whoreland. When you're if you're in whoreland, it's whoreland.
So that's the fork box, not the spoon box.
I guess you could argue that, yes. My point is, if I was going to take a woman seriously, the idea of another man being near her, I find repulsive. And I find it repulsive because the idea of the man repulses me by and large.
Yeah.
Any man who's happy to have sex with that many other men, when there's that much other male DNA in the room, I would argue has a streak of homosexuality to some degree. I would argue that those men are gay. Now, you're not trans, but I don't think a straight man wants to fuck a pussy that's had 10 dicks in it, or 20 dicks in it, or 50 dicks in it.
What about 1,057?
Well, I don't know. Maybe these men are just bi, or I don't know. Maybe they're desperate. You can argue lots of things.
See, I don't agree, but I do get where you're coming from. Like some of these guys, especially 6 hours in, they come to me. The floor's like an ice rink. There's that much cum on there. Oh. My face, I'm barely recognizable. Like my hair is slicked back. My eyes are full of cum. Like my whole body is so slippery from cum. And yet they still come. They kiss me. They touch me.
Oh no!
Fuck, what if they don't want to touch me because I'm covered in another guy's cum?
Oh.
And when I do the gangbangs and there's a lot of men together, I have security in that room. A lot of people assume that security's for me. It's not. It's for the other guys because I'm always concerned, like, if another guy comes and it hits another guy, I don't want a fight to break out. I don't want them to be like, oh, that's gay, don't touch me. So there's always security when I do these events, but it's predominantly for the guys because I'm scared a fight's going to break out because they think it's gay.
And you respect this profession?
I understand the profession. The profession has been around for a very long time. I respect the honesty, actually, what I said. But, yeah, I think the men who turn up to these events are gay, by and large. I think they're at least bi. Because I think that if you're a straight man, you don't really want to be near other kind of men's genitals. And time, in and of itself, we should resurrect Einstein and get him in this conversation. He'll tell you more about it than me. But, time's all happening at once, they say. And that, it's not linear like we believe. And there's another dimension where everything happens at once. Have you seen Interstellar?
Yes.
Cool. So if you fuck her after she's been fucked, you're fucking her at the same time she is being fucked, and the dick is in there with your dick, and it's all happening in one big fucking time warp of jizz. And it's better if you're just nowhere near it. If you just don't go anywhere near it.
This conversation is getting me really wet.
Well, this is the thing. Well, I'm sure that when I see your next event, time warp of jizz, I expect a cut. But so for me, women say this. Oh yeah, but it was before I met you. I don't give a fuck if it was before you knew my name. You got fucked, and that's disgusting, and that offends me now. You cheated on me before I met you. That is terrible.
Is that not your insecurity?
Well, that's a perfect word. So people call it insecurity. You got onto my point. It's almost like you can read my mind, Rob. People call it insecurity. They say,
if you've got 1 inch, the other guys are going to have bigger dicks.
Well, people call it insecurity and people call it lots of things. But truthfully, what it is heterosexuality. And any of these men who go, oh, yeah, I don't mind her being covered in cum, they need to take a long, hard look in the mirror and probably get an AIDS test because they're gay. And that's fine. I mean, some people are gay. But you can be gay. You can have gay sex with a woman. Of course you can. I mean, the point of having sex with a woman is to get her pregnant.
Listen,
by and large.
I'm gonna be honest. Since we're on the conversation, the video is already gonna get demonetized. I always thought dudes that like backdoor entry more often than vaginal entry, and this is something that you like request over and over. Like, that's odd to me. That's crazy odd to me. Because then, what's the difference between that and a guy, right? Like, that orifice is one thing that we share amongst men and women. I never got it. The dudes that seek out that time, I don't put me anywhere near that thing. That thing is only an exit, baby. That's it. It's not made for entry. God didn't make it for, you just want it because you sick, perverted, and probably just a wee bit gay. Let's go.
I'd argue that being horny in general is kind of gay. To be like, I'm so horny. Like, I'm a full-grown man. I'm so horny. I'm so horny. Like, who?
Yeah, but to me, gay's fucking another guy.
No. Gay's doing gay shit, bro. Gay's having sex with a woman without the intention of impregnating her. Having sex with a woman who's covered in cum. All this is just gay sex. It's all gay. Have sex with a woman and have a child.
What? So you only have sex on ovulation day?
It's not about that, but there has to be a chance. So there has to be a chance of a child arriving.
But what about on your boat with 25 hoes?
Who says I even fuck them? You think Rob, this is what I mean. You're so trapped in the Matrix. You're so trapped in the Matrix.
I think you're judging me, Andrew.
No, you think
you know I'm not trapped in the. You know I'm not trapped in the Matrix.
You think I'll get 25 whores on a boat and then be like, yeah, let me f them? No, I just want 25 whores on my boat because it's like I want whores on my boat. I want trees in my forest. Like they're just there because I've got a boat.
I've
got a boat and there's women on my boat and they're all beautiful and everyone's jealous of me while I sit there, and even though they all annoy me and I don't even want to f them, I just sit on my laptop. But that's just life. It's not even about fucking them. It's not about the sex. You're thinking about sex. This is beyond sex. Nothing to do with sex.
Unless you're only having sex in ovulation, then you're gay. Because then that's the only way a girl's conceiving really is around ovulation.
Well, my point is that if there is a slight chance, and there's always a chance.
Very, very slim though.
Okay, but if there's a chance.
So, okay, you're 50% gay.
If there's a chance of a baby appearing.
Yeah.
Then I would argue that that is pretty heterosexual sex because heterosexual sex leads to babies. What is the differentiator between heterosexual and homosexual sex? The primary differentiator between the two is offspring. So if you're having sex that cannot possibly lead to offspring in any way, that is gay sex.
Yeah, but who's to
If you're fucking a girl in the ass, you're gay. Why? If you're turning up with a condom and fucking a woman on birth control, you're gay.
Do you do anything for pleasure? Do you do anything just for fun,
If you're a white
Andrew?
man who gets his fucking balls cut open, I know white boys who voluntarily get vasectomies. They voluntarily have their dick chopped to pieces just to make sure they don't accidentally have a beautiful child. Like, how fucking gay can you be? This is all gay sex. If I have sex, there's a chance of a kid. That's the life I live. That's the man I am. If a kid comes, it's a blessing from God. Good. If no kid comes, fine. That's how it is. But if you were to say to me, Andrew, you can come have sex here, and there's no chance of there ever being a kid. It's just for fun.
There's always a
chance,
chance,
I would say,
though.
sorry, I'm not gay.
Condoms aren't 100% reliable. So that day, someone did have a 0.01% chance of impregnating me.
Yeah, but they're trying to not have a kid.
Well, how do you know? Did you ask him?
Well, if you have a condom on, you're trying not to have a kid.
Who said I didn't put a pin in it?
The man putting the condom on his dick is trying to not have a kid. The realist there would turn up and say, listen, I'm going to impregnate in Bonnie Blue. You all keep the condoms on. Fuck it. I'm having a baby out of this bitch because I ain't fucking for free. So let me get a kid at least. I mean, you got money to look after it. You can just block you on WhatsApp. You can raise it. That's free. That's free progeny. These people ain't thinking right.
Do you do anything just for fun?
Loads of stuff.
Like what?
But I don't think running around. I mean, maybe when I was younger, but I'm an old man now. I'm old. I'm 38. I really have no interest in fucking dead puss. You know when girls sit and say, I'm on birth control. Disgusting. Right. There's nothing more disgusting than a bitch on birth control.
Yeah, but I think it's
dead
disgusting
pussy.
if women get pregnant and they can't afford to look after that kid, or they end up in a council house on benefits and that kid has a shit life.
No, this is good. Bonnie,
Well,
this is
that's good.
No, let me explain.
We're going to run out of beans.
No, let me explain. This is a great thing. Feminism's led us here, and
broke
we voted to
character.
let in all these migrants, and all these migrants turn up and rape the state. Look, I've got hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
If I got a woman pregnant and she annoyed me, I'd say, yeah, call the council. Fuck you. Let's just rape the state like everyone else does. I'm brown enough. I'm black enough. I can do it. Put her in Marsh Farm, Luton, where I'm from. Be fine.
You wouldn't do that.
Who gives a fuck?
You wouldn't do that.
Who
Yeah, but that's your
cares?
kid.
She better text me respectfully. She can be rich. If she texts me beef, I'll be like, call the council, get a council house, whatever. Let's have kids. Let's just all live off the government. This is feminism. Because you don't have to live off the government if you have a husband. They don't want husbands. And they don't want husbands. Women want to get married, but they don't want husbands. They want to get married like Sex in the City style. You know, like you fuck a million men. Then you get married to some really rich guy who lets you do whatever you want. Then you have an affair with the gardener. And then you spend all his money. And then somehow you're still the victim. That's the kind of marriage they want.
That's
they
most
don't
women's
want
dream.
That's right. They don't actually want to be wives.
Right.
Because wives are obedient. And wives are quiet. And wives listen. All women say this. I want to marry you. I want to marry you. Wait till you're in an argument with them and read their messages and go, this is why I will never marry you. This is why I will never marry you.
He's breaking character at key times here. Like, he just giggled a little bit. We all just saw that. But then also now he's breaking character to a degree because he's explaining the feminism. He's kind of giving you a look behind the curtain. He's explaining the rationale of his behavior right now by saying that this is feminism. Do I actually think that he believes that going inside women that are on birth control is gay? Absolutely not. But what he's doing is he's trying to display all of the irrational times that feminists will call men gay for simply existing, right? Just doing ordinary things. Oh, that's gay because you think women are XYZ. You must be gay. That's exactly what he's doing. The troll here is over 9,000. And honestly, it's a thing of beauty to watch him work. Let's keep listening.
I read their messages and they don't realize that they've ruined their chance forever. I cannot marry you because of how you talk. A wife doesn't do this. I told you to be quiet 3 times.
What you can
And
do
here
is say,
you are.
go and get on that naughty corner.
That's right.
That naughty step.
So women don't want to be wives. They want to just get married, which means that the whole familiar structure is broken. Once the family structure is broken, who has to take the place? Government. Think about this. In Romania, we have no mental health care. Why are there no mental people or out in the streets? Family. We have no forced child support. Why are women not starving to death? Family. We have no disability care. Why are people not sitting on the streets with no legs? Family. Family does so much work. In the West, we have no family.
Yeah.
So the government has to come along and offer mental health care, disability care,
So true.
forced child support. The government has to do it because of feminism.
Yep.
So what I'm saying is if women don't want to get married to men anymore and they all want to listen to the fucking government, then the government can raise the motherfucking kids.
Yeah.
Fine. Rob, you put 4 women in front of me, all different flavors. You give me Indian, Chinese, black, white, whatever. And you say you all and have a kid out of all of them and they'll all be raised on council estates around England. I'd say no problem. Why not? Why the fuck not? If they're real niggers, they'll survive.
If you don't feel guilty, that's your child.
Why would I feel guilty?
Because
How I
that's
was
your
raised.
child, it's your DNA.
Of course. And if the woman's nice to me and says, Andrew, I'm tired of living in Runcorn.
But the
Can I come live in
kids
Dubai
shouldn't-
in a mansion? I'll say, of
Yeah.
course, my dear.
Then,
And then,
kids
but
have to
then,
take the
but
hit
then
of
if
it.
she annoys me, if she's like, oh, I'm here in Dubai and you left me by myself and you're with all these other women, who are all these whores on your boat?
Take
Then I'll be
the
like,
kid
bitch,
off
go
her.
back to Runcorn.
Take the kid off her.
No, I'm not gonna take the kid off her. She can keep the kid. Just take
Yeah,
the
but
money.
it's your DNA.
Yeah, of course. And my DNA is survivor DNA.
But
The
if
survivor
you've got a
bias.
proper wife,
if I
that
have
other wife
50
will take
kids,
that
at least
kid.
5 of them will be real niggas. I don't need to the 45. Look, it's survival of the fittest out here. This is how it works.
Yo.
This is how my brain works. But you're saying
This is a
I don't know
stand-up.
why we're gonna sit here and create the logic fail of pretending it is wrong for a government to raise the children when that was a man's job, when men have had all of their authority removed. You want us to have the responsibility of a woman, the responsibility of a family, the responsibility of children, the responsibilities with none of the authority. You can't tell a woman what to do. You can't tell her to be quiet. You can't tell your kids off. You can't tell her not to suck dick. You can't tell her not to go out with her friends. If you do any of that, it's emotionally coercive behavior. That's a criminal charge in England. If you tell your own wife not to go to the pub and you're the criminal.
Oh, you're so controlling. Oh,
That's
you just
right.
Let me do stuff.
But I'm still responsible? No. It looks like the government has more power than me. So if you want to play this game and take all of my authority away as a man, you want to reduce me to nothing more than a tax slave. Well, then I'm going to play your game back at you. I have no authority, so I have no responsibility. I will look after children, and I will look after the women who give me absolute authority over their lives, who say, yes, sir, anything you say, sir, I trust what you believe in the world. I trust you're guiding us. I trust you to take care of us. Yes, sir. Those women are driving Bentleys currently, living in mansions currently. And the women who say, I don't want to listen to you, I want to do what I want, are currently in council houses. And I have kids with all of them. And I don't give a fuck. Because this is my masculine imperative, to impregnate. And when I die, no matter what you think of me, no matter what anyone thinks of me, no matter what anyone watches this, has a bad problem with me, whatever, I get to die with 100 children. I win. I had 100 kids. I was one of the most famous men on the planet, made hundreds of millions of dollars, spent a little time in jail, whatever. I win. Great life. Genghis Khan. There's men out there who go, oh no, I've got my 2 kids, that's enough. That's your choice. To me, it sounds like failure. Perma-failure. And the only reason they're doing that is because their women wouldn't give them more. Or they're afraid to have kids with another woman in case their woman finds out.
A lot of guys, like I speak to, the wife wants another kid, but they don't want it because they know they'd have to work longer hours. They know they'd have to do more work. Yeah, the wife wants another kid because she's like, fucking hell, what's going to happen in a few months? I'm going to have to go back to work. I don't want to go back to work. Hey, I'm going to pop out another kid. So a lot of the time, I think the women do want more kids and the dads don't, but it's because of the pressure. They know that that additional kid is going to mean in terms of income.
It's because they're gay.
They're not gay.
They're gay.
Bonnie, do you think Andrew Tate is guilty of the charges against him?
I don't know. What's the saying? Innocent till proven... No, yeah, innocent till proven guilty. Are you a
But
rapist?
what do you really think? What do you think?
No, I think why would he? He gets pussy easy enough. Why go and cause drama for yourself? That's
Bonnie
honestly
is
what I
the
think.
most based person. You know that you're probably one of the smartest women I've spoken to.
I'm quite smart. To say I'm a slut, I have a brain and I am smart, only in what I do. For example, like, if you ask me about sex work, media, or marketing, I've got an answer. You ask me about other shit, I don't know. I don't even know where. I thought we was on an island right now. We're not. But I think, why would someone like Andrew go and rape someone? He can get like unlimited pussy. Why cause a headache for yourself? Why go and pay a lawyer? Why give more money to the government? He could just join my queue. I've seen him there multiple times.
All right, I was with you till then. Bonnie's based. Bonnie understands the world very well. I think that's why we kind of understand each other. She understands the world very well. Of course, I haven't raped anyone. What I did was not buy girls handbags who wanted handbags, and then they did what women do, which is cry.
They want attention and they want money.
Of course, they want attention and money. And everyone with a brain knows they want attention and money.
Did they cry rape, or was it the system that came for you first?
Well, this is the thing. When the system starts calling every single woman and promises them money, and you've slept with a bunch of them, they only need to find 1 or 2 out of the 1,000, and then there you go. And then they can raise criminal charges on you, which is what they did to me. They call 1,000 women, they find a couple who want money or fame, and they get them to make lies up about you so that the government can attack you. This is my point by and large. This is why, if anyone's confused about my opinions on anything, I want you to understand, men now, we are such second-class citizens. We have no authority, we have no autonomy, we have nothing left inside of us because we have no capability to even defend ourselves against heinous allegations which are raised in retrospect of action. We're expected to pay all the taxes. We're expected to build the roads. We're expected to go to work every day. We're expected to die in a ditch if the country needs defending. We're expected to stay on the boat when the boat is sinking. We're expected to do all of these things. But it turns out the government and women can wreck us by and large. We are nothing but slaves and serfs to the matriarchy now. And because we live in this matriarchal system where men are absolutely abused, nobody gives a shit about our mental health. Nobody gives a shit about our physical health. All we talk about is breast cancer. That's not even the top 10 cancers, I believe. I think prostate cancer's 10 times the amount. Nobody gives a fuck if men die. Nobody gives a fuck if we kill ourselves. Nobody cares if we do worse in school. Nobody cares most of us go to jail. They don't care about any of it. So we are slaves. So what I do as a slave is say, well, if I'm a slave here in this system, then I don't see why I need to be responsible enough to worry about paying for this kid, for example. If you're going to treat me like a fucking bitch and the government's going to come along like Big Daddy, is going to poison my woman's mind so she doesn't listen to me, is going to rape me in a divorce court, is going to throw me in jail based on false allegations, then how about you pay for the fucking children? Fuck you. That's my view.
What do you think about that? Do you think like men are the lowest in society now?
I think men, if they speak out, they literally don't have a word against women nowadays. Especially with rape, there is a lot of men that get away with it, and that's terrible. But there's a lot of girls that just haven't got the right way, and the next day they cry. And I'm not saying that's all women. Rape does happen. It happens regardless. But like blaming Andrew for that, it's just girls that want attention. Those girls come forward like, oh my God, I'm the girl that Andrew Tate. Their Instagram will shoot through the roof. They'll get paid. They'll probably get some sort of clothing brand deal because it's, oh my God, it's women empowerment. Look, you spoke out against someone that's, so hated. They'll be credited, even though their stories are fake. They're the ones that will get praised.
And I'll be the first to admit, I have not been following up with the allegations in regards to Andrew Tate. So I come at this from an uninformed perspective, listening to someone who's claiming that he is innocent. Nevertheless, it seems as though if you are a man that is making this type of money, let's not even say hundreds of millions of dollars, let's just say millions of dollars. And if you are well known, you're in the public eye, and people know that you're a multimillionaire, it seems that as a man, you have to go through additional steps in order to protect yourself, security around yourself, and also in choosing a woman to spend time with, or women to be able to spend time with, seems to be a much more important decision than what we are privy to. Because in this day and age, a man that is well known and it is associated with a lot of money, you become a lick. The best option is to make a lot of money in silence. It seems like with many of these high money, high power, high status men, when you get into some of these allegations and you do your own research and due diligence to understand what are the allegations, right, and cross-reference that towards the testimony or the evidence that is coming out, many of them you begin to understand, like, wait a minute, like, was that assault, or was that someone who then took back their right later on? Shit, even in the Diddy case, we went into the Diddy case thinking how much of a monster that Diddy is. He's still a fucked up monster individual, right? Like, but then you cross-reference it towards Cassie's effort into being his bottom bitch throughout the entirety of their dating time with him. And you're like, wait a minute, you are not as much of an angel as what it was thought to be. You came to find out later that many of the allegations against Weinstein were from women that just made shit up against him during the Me Too era. So literally, he was guilty at the second that women started to come up against him, all the way up to Johnny Depp. And then recently we got allegations on Shannon Sharp, and damn near nobody believes that he is doing the things that the OF star is alleging. But because it is what it is, we got to take it seriously and see what happens in front of the court of law that is most obviously a shakedown. So let's go.
100%. Bonnie is smart.
But you blame feminism on it.
Well, I blame a society in which women have been told that they can do and have anything they want all of the time. And we live in this unrealistic subsect of events. The world we now live in is completely unrealistic on basically every level.
That's how Bonnie is living, isn't it?
Well, no, I think Bonnie is actually taking...
I'm not crying. I'm not
She's
saying,
not crying rape.
People are taking advantage of me. I'm there saying, look, I'm a slut, I'm a whore, my holes are open. Come do it. But then when women say I'm taking them back, I'll give you the stats that I'm actually reducing rape rates.
Rob, this is important because Bonnie is the only person who is honest. Saying I'm a whore, fuck me, and I'll make money from it is far more honest than saying, oh, I love you so much, I'll be your girlfriend. Oh, can you buy me this handbag? Oh, you won't buy me the handbag. Or I love you so much, let's get married. Oh, I'm unhappy in this marriage.
It's way more sinister.
She's the most honest woman of all. This is exactly what men should be hoping for, to meet a woman this honest. Because most women.
I'm not going to hide my past. I'm not going to say, you know what, I'm really innocent. I'll say, you know what, I fucked 1,057 men. Yes, I want to get to a body goal of 10,000. But I am honest. I'm not hiding it. My phone hasn't got a password. Like, I am just so open and transparent.
You want to get to a body count of 10,000 men?
Yeah.
Would you rather meet Bonnie, who tells you all of this, or a woman who goes, oh, really? No, I haven't really done much, when she's done everything and she's been a total fucking whore and she's lying to you. And then you marry her believing she's a good girl. And then she takes you to the divorce court and completely wrecks you. You know what? Men say, oh, my woman's not a gold digger. Go to divorce court. Don't talk about gold diggers. Go to divorce court and you will soon learn that every single female on the planet wants your money. All. I've never seen anybody go to divorce court and say, she's not after my money, funnily enough. She just wants to get a divorce. No, every single time they want every fucking... The house. They want to take everything. They're all gold diggers. So it's actually very interesting. I respect Bonnie because you know exactly what you're getting. If you show me a scorpion and I know you're a scorpion, fine. Don't put a scorpion in a fucking bunny suit. You understand?
With me, you get good technique and money.
You know, it actually reminds me of what he used to say is that the world would be a lot different of a place if every woman had their body count on their forehead. I mean, if it was a Sharpie, shit, Bonnie's face would make her look black. But absolutely, the world would be a much different place. But in order to enter an equality in that, right, in this post-feminism environment, if you put women's body count on their face, you got to put men's bank account on their face as well. Let's go.
It's honest. I respect the honesty of it. And people are going to sit here, and there are people who do it. They're going to sit here and go, well, Bonnie Blue does is disgusting. Ain't that right, babe? Ain't that right, babe? And they'll hold Babe's hand, knowing that Babe's fucking worse. Babe's a fucking skank. They met her in a fucking pub, three Jägermeisters in. She's prepared to that guy, whoever he is, who's a fucking nobody. You're watching this at home, all you guys watching this at home, and you think your wife really loves you. Do you think I couldn't take your bitch? Of course I could. I think she chose you because she ain't met me, bruv. That's it. So, like, you're pretending your wife's any better? It's bullshit. I love Bonnie's honesty. And she knows, I'm going to bring her to court. You're my lawyer. I'm adding you to the legal team. This bitch is lying. She wanted money. That's it. So as a man now, you talk about the different forks and spoons and stuff. Let's talk about this. If I have a woman who I take care of and she's wifey and whatever, she's wifey in a certain scenario, that's fine. But if I'm going to put 25 girls on a boat, don't I want girls who are honest, who are open, who know why they're there? They're there because I'm rich and I have them there because they're hot and we all know why everyone's there. I'm less likely to get trouble with those kind of women than the women who go, oh, I'm so innocent, I'm so sweet. Those
Andrew took advantage of me. Andrew took me on a boat and this and this happened. Whereas, like, you take me on a boat, guaranteed no, your lawyers aren't getting involved. I'll say, if anything, I put it on you. That's more realistic.
What advice would you give to Bonnie now she's starting to get cancelled like you've been?
Well, I'm sure she's smart enough to understand have to find a way to monetize and become independent outside of the matrix like I did. You have to find some clever ways to do it, and it's very doable. I think Bonnie's going to continue to get paid using what she knows how to do to become financially successful, which is a fantastic thing to do. Why not? No point doing it for free. I think Bonnie's smart enough to work it all out. And I don't think she gives a shit what they say negative about her because there's no such thing as bad press. I mean, I'm probably the most negatively spoke about guy on the planet.
Does that bother you?
I don't give a fuck. And I just really, my only thing for Bonnie, and I'm actually going to ask you a question. I really hope, Bonnie,
Yeah.
that you stay true to the end. I hope you're real G about this.
I
don't want you to start busting out a cross and talking about God in about 5 years from now.
I mean, I might
saying that
insert it inside of me, but there's no way you're going to see me at church unless it's for a gangbang.
No, I don't want any of that I'm reformed bullshit. I don't want any of that crap and saying my past doesn't matter because I've been born again. Please don't do that. I want you until the end in the old people's home. I want, petting zoo, 85-year-old petting zoo. I want you to do it to the end. And stay real about your choices.
100%.
All right. Well, then she's the real G. Then she made her decision. Live by the sword, die by the sword. Live by the code. Street life. It is what it is. Like me, I could have fucking pussied out by now. When they put me in jail, I could have started saying, yeah, women should vote. No, they shouldn't. So you, put me in jail. That I stick to what I mean. She's going to stick to what she means and what she says and what she wants to do. She's not going to start busting out and trying to use religion as a shield. Because that's what most of these OnlyFans girls do.
Yeah.
And there's always some white boy, especially
Because
white
they've got no
boys.
motivation. Like, they don't know what to do. They're like, okay, what can I do now?
White knight.
My OF's dropping or my Fansly account's dropping. I know, let's just say I found God. They've got no motivation or drive in life. They have to be given a purpose. You have to be given a reason to live. It's either, have a couple
they don't
of
want to
kids.
take responsibility for what they did.
Yeah.
What they want to do is they want to erase their past. So they want to get, these OnlyFans girls, they say, oh, I'm traditional now and God, and they wave a cross around. And then some little white boy who goes to church all the time, who's never had pussy in his life, is like, she's reformed. Bro, pathetic. But the women get away with it. So as long as they get away with it, you can't blame the thief for stealing. You got to blame the guy who didn't lock his gold up, truthfully. And if these women get away with this scam and men want to fall for it, then it's up to them.
So
But
what
I just
Bonnie's
hope,
doing is a scam, is it?
no, I just don't want Bonnie to ever, change up the game. Stick to what you know.
One rule for one and one rule for another. And that's what's annoying.
No, but I find this interesting because most people are too fucking stupid to understand these false dichotomies we live under. And let's take Diddy, for example, right? I'm not defending Diddy.
Yeah.
What he did was probably wrong. I don't know. I haven't followed the case. I don't know the ins and outs. I don't know what the fuck Diddy did. The guy, he was anti-Trump. He hated me. Me and Diddy don't even like each other. The only time we interacted on Twitter was beef. So I'm not defending the guy. What I'm saying is that black culture in America, the music, the culture, all it is sexualizing women and whores, getting as much money as possible, being a gangster, waving guns around, fucking loads of women. That's the culture.
That sounds like you.
Careful. So if that's the culture that the black society is going to promote, if that's what the music is going to push, if that's what's seen as the end goal of success in the black community, becoming a rapper, becoming famous, having a bunch of whores, fucking a bunch of whores, being feared, having guns, being a gangster, being a criminal, if all of this is what they're pushing and they're saying this is the end goal of success, and then someone gets there and does it, and then we say, he was threatening women and he was waving a gun around and he was fucking loads of women. So what I'm saying is, it's very hypocritical, this society we live in now, where we push people in a certain direction. And then as soon as they end up exactly where they're headed, we have a go at them for it and pretend they shouldn't be there. It is absolutely false to declare that women are not being sexualized. Women are told to be promiscuous now. Women are told to be sexual now. Yeah. So when a woman ends up promiscuous and sexually liberated, who are we to sit and say, I can't believe this has happened? It's completely asinine. It's a double standard. It's a false dichotomy. And it's amazing to me that we live in this world. If you're going to have black rap music push people to be in big mansions with a bunch of whores fucking them, taking drugs and waving guns around, don't be surprised when black people do it. And don't be surprised when women end up as whores and we're telling women to be whores. If you want women to do something else, then tell them to do something else. I don't know why we're surprised by it. The thing that's unsettling in all of this is still the role of the average man, who's expected to get far less in terms of loyalty and quality and standard from a woman than he's ever had and pay a far higher price. Our grandfathers got a woman. He didn't have to be rich. He didn't have to even be famous. He didn't have to be successful. He just had to be a man and do the most basic things. And she loved him and he loved her and they had a happy relationship. Our grandfathers got a woman for fuck all. Now, to get a woman who cares about you, you need to be one of the most famous, rich, well-known, drive a Lambo, this, X, Y, Z. The average man's fucking wrecked.
Yeah.
And the role of men in all of this is completely forgotten because nobody gives a shit about men. We're hypersexualizing women. And let's be honest, Bonnie is smart enough to monetize her own content. But most women who are promiscuous are not smart enough to monetize.
But isn't Bonnie part of the problem then?
Bonnie is a symptom of society.
Well, she's the end boss.
I don't want to say of the disease of society. I could, but she's a symptom. She's the end result of the society we have built, which is why it's hypocritical.
Which you think is degrading.
I'm living the best I can in the world that's already been built. I don't give a shit about changing the world. The world
not here
has
to change
given
it.
me the opportunity to do what I do and monetize from it.
Yeah.
I'm going to do that.
She's monetizing.
But
You've seen
you
me-
said you thought you were a positive role
No,
model
but Rob,
to men.
Rob.
Well,
is
I
it-
am positive because you think of the day I fucked 1,000 men. If you was a rapist, would you go and find someone else? No, I've shared my location. Come and fuck me. Like, I'm reducing rape rates because when you have sex workers that are available and guys want to have sex, they want to breathe, they want to fuck. And if they can't find a girlfriend or they can't afford to pay for one, because prostitutes nowadays can be expensive, I'm saying, hey, I'm doing it for free. Just come fuck me. Take it out on me because I consent to that. So I'm not promoting, people say I promote rape culture and stuff. I'm not. I'm saying, hey, I enjoy it. I get wet. I get turned on. I wank over my videos. Come and fuck me. Save yourself paying a lawyer. Like, I'm actually doing people work.
You know, I really wonder if the genius marketers over there at the Feminist Department Incorporated, if all of those decades ago, if they thought through what was going to be the end goal, right? Or what will be the result. And as I say that, I'm not talking about the original, like the OG feminists that were searching for some degrees of equality within the world, but like the more modern ones, the ones that, you know, claim that men are oppressing them, that we're currently still in a patriarchy, wage gap, this, be sexually liberated to your heart's content, that, like, did they ever envision a Bonnie Blue, someone to ultimately monetize the pure depravity of sexualizing oneself for benefit of men? My guess is that they didn't think this far, and that Bonnie Blue is a result of someone trying to intelligently monetize. Although, you know, she don't have a soul, but she's trying to intelligently monetize. But I get all of Andrew's points of at least that she's doing it up front. And, you know, it's hard to disagree with that because that's one of the main things that I go over on this channel. When I talk about from a red flag perspective, how do you understand who they truly are? Shit, I've even thought about products. Is there a way that we can AI her past to understand the type of person, reviewing all of her social media posts, taking a look at pictures of places that she's been in order to try to understand the person that she actually is? And the thing is that it's because so much is at stake. Just as Andrew was saying, take a look at the divorce courts today. Take a look at them. That's why I go over so many of the content that I find in regards to divorce court on the channel, because I think that it's important for men to see that the person that you marry is not the person that you divorce. And when the lawyers get involved, and the lawyers are just trying to make as much money, right? They're trying to monetize on a process or a system as well. Once you get them involved, once the state gets involved, it all becomes about extraction. In majority of cases, the man is making more money, so he's going to feel the brunt of the bullshit. And here's the thing. All of the women that are watching this content right now that are actually good women, you should feel happy that content like this is coming out. You should not be in disagreement, because if you're a good woman, you will bubble to the top. You make yourself that much more applicable within modern society today if you conduct yourself responsibly. If you are looking for a leader, if you are honing in on your femininity, if you want the man in your life to be accountable for the family while you are responsible for the roles within that family that you decide with your guy. I describe the audience, you guys that watch this channel consistently, into 3 different categories. The first being masculine men. The second being men who aspire to be a masculine man. And then the third being women who love masculine men. So for the women that love the masculine men, I know it's a little bit more confusing watching content like Andrew's, because you don't know when he's trolling, when he's being sarcastic, and when he's not. But I've been giving you guys the gems. And women like Bonnie Blue further exposes the ridiculousness of the culture that we currently exist. The last point that I want to make, he was making a point about Black culture and, you know, how do you propagate all of these different things, and then you come down on those that are actually living that life, i.e. I think his point in a roundabout way was trying to get towards Diddy. And it's actually funny because the commentator said, well, what about you, Andrew? And he said, careful. But what he calls out is absolutely true. How do you have the worst forms of us representing the lot of us, continuing to perpetuate the stereotypes, continuing to drag down a community of people that look like those that are the influencers or those that are on top? That's why I so much speak about those types of behaviors and speak about the importance of my father within my life to hone in on certain behaviors and or characteristics that I was picking up living in New York and looking out around me. But he kept me close to home and close to the heart in order to instill a different way of thinking to upgrade my priorities and what was important within my life. The last thing I want to say about this is that I think it would absolutely break the internet if you got Andrew Tate and Charleston White in a room. Damn, I put money on the books for that type of conversation. You heard? All right, guys, let me know what you think about the content here today. All right. Let me know if you guys want me to continue on reviewing or going over the content. Continue to support the original content creators. Again, I'll leave this video down in the description box down below if you want to see the comments unadulterated without my thoughts and or opinions. All right. Until next time, family. Peace.
She belongs to the street.
Girl, don't hold my hand. You a mattress actress on the OnlyFans. Get your money, girl, but damn, how is that your only plan? What you gonna do when you get too old to strip and dance? Get up out your echo chamber screaming period and yes. You a low down dirty woman if you try to get knocked up by a high value man.